All right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Tuesday, May the 3rd, and yeah, we got quite a bit of ground to cover here, drinking quite a bit over the last couple weeks, and man, I'm sorry I missed one of my reviews from last week. We had the Movers and Shakers in here on Wednesday night. This is a networking group head up by Ari, Pete, and Greg. Three guys that are just that, Movers and Shakers. And we put together a little tasting here for them of 2005 vintage Bordeaux. Well, most of the wines were 2005 vintage. We did throw in a 2009 vintage Sauternes, but hey man, these wines are drying up. There's not a lot of stuff remaining in the marketplace from 2005 at a reasonable price. You know, the old saying with the wine merchant's joke, I don't know how many times I'm going to sell this before somebody drinks it. With the top level wines of Bordeaux, these wines get traded back and forth many times. But hey, the stuff that we had were just great everyday wines. Well, I mean, we had one Grand Cru Class A wine, but hey, if you weren't classified in 1855, you're pretty much screwed in Bordeaux. You know, you're not going to be able to get much more than $50 a bottle for your wine ever. Even the top level, stuff being made in the Médoc, which is one of the best areas. And the outer lying areas of the right bank, Saint-Emilion and Pomerol, like the Côtes de Castillon, the Côte de Blaye. Actually, they're called Castillon, Côte de Bordeaux now. They changed the nomenclature in the last year. But we had some really good stuff, starting out with the Montperlant Bordeaux Blanc. And, there's no AC for the Côte de Bordeaux for a white wine to where this is from, so they just call it Bordeaux Blanc. Just like they would Chateau Margaux Pavillon Blanc is just called Bordeaux Blanc because in Margaux there's no AC for a white wine. You can only make red wine with the AC Margaux. All right, well, this is a blend of Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc. Well, mostly Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, a little Muscadet. This wine had some lovely concentration on the nose. You know, one of the things you get that lovely melon, fig, and grapefruit showing through from the Sauvignon Blanc. The Semillon adds a lovely depth and texture on the palate, and then Muscadet adds a little bit of a floral note to it. Really nice wine, had lovely richness on the palate. This 05 vintage, the trifecta for Bordeaux, folks. Great for dry whites, great for dry reds, and fabulous for sweet wines. All right, the first wine, Chateau Blaignan. This is from the Médoc, and you have the Haut-Médoc. Well, you're talking the left and the right side of the Garonne River. The Haut-Médoc is the southern portion on the left bank, and the Médoc is the upper portion, which doesn't include, it's up near where Saint-Julien, Margaux, Pauillac, and Saint-Estèphe are, but this is the area that's outside of the boundaries of those. And some fabulous values, just like this Blaignan, $14.50. People kept picking it up going, how much is that? 2005 Bordeaux? And pouring it going, man, that's really good. And, it's lighter. You don't want to keep all Bordeaux for a long time. There's a myth, wine gets better with age. Well, most wine goes bad with age, okay? And simple wines from Bordeaux, even, you want to drink pretty close to release. These Médocs, this wine's drinking beautifully right now. It may have a couple years left in it. You don't have to worry about rushing it out and drinking it tomorrow. But a really nice classic Médoc for short money, $14.50. Next up, we had a Saint-Emilion, and this is one of the right bank appellations. This wine has lovely plummy and jammy fruit on the nose, some fresh earth, some coffee, toffee, kind of classic Saint-Emilion on the nose, and some chalk-like minerality there. Smooth plum and cherry fruit showing up on the tongue. Nice structure and nice freshness. One of the things you get in a great vintage like 05. When you swallow the wine, that impression of freshness. The minerality also lasts on your tongue, like with this Chateau La Fleur. We do have a few bottles of that left, folks. Hey, as I mentioned, these 05s are drying up. The Roche Marin from Pessac, one of the greatest values, we've had in the store from Pessac. I'm not going to say too much about it because we don't have any to sell you. All right, the Petit Buck, same thing from Saint-Estèphe. For $26, we sold the 3 bottles we had that night. You don't find much Saint-Estèphe in that price range, but a classic little wine. Maybe a little austere, but that's what one of the things Saint-Estèphe is known for. The D'Armignac, which was our big boy. This is a Grand Cru Class A from the folks that bring you Chateau Mouton Rothschild, one of the arms of the Rothschild family. This is one of the great fifth gross, a fantastic wine, this 05 D'Armignac. And I don't have any of that to sell you either, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But the Chateau La Fleur d'Or, we do have to sell you, folks. And this is Bill Blatch's own production. Bill is kind of the Indiana Jones Bordeaux value hunter, and he's got a company called Bordeaux Gold. He specializes in Sauternes. And 2009, the next great vintage after 2005, and great for also dry whites, reds, and sweet wines. This is the best value I've ever had in the store for a Sauternes. For something we can sell you for under $15 for a half bottle, $26 for a full bottle. Has that lovely pineapple kind of candied fruit right now. That honey character you get from that botrytis, that noble rot, really comes in a few years later. You want to hold on to this wine for a couple of years for it to get that lovely honey character. But hey, one of the great things about Sauternes, you can drink them young. And this wine shows beautifully today, but you could hold on to it for 5, 10, 15 years possibly or more. All right, that's what we had to drink with the Shoot Movers and Shakers guy. Guys, good show. I think we're going to be doing an event with them around once a month. We had about 25 or 30 people here. A good time was had by all. All right, folks, next up, we've got the Robert Mondavi Vertical Tasting going back to the very first vintage of Reserve.